An infant incubator is a piece of equipment common to the pediatric hospital, birthing centers, and neonatal intensive care units, while the unit may serve several specific functions. The incubator serves almost as artificial uterus, creating an optimal environmental for the newborn. There are several important aspects to take into account in the operation of incubator and its effect on the baby. 1. Temperature control. All incubator have a sensor music the bone each and temperature of the newborn. This sensor is called servo control and is kick to baby skin when detects that the temperature of the baby is less of 36 degrees. The incubator emits heat might the temperature acute. It is also able to detect fever is baby. 2. Insulation. The incubator is in order accounts and space glows well isol takes to the filters of air that are in the depth ducts of the site. 3. Moisture control. To control moisture not only in the temperature of the environment, as important is the degree of humidity, since a very dry environment favors the desiccation even with low temperatures. 4. Control of height. 5. Monitoring.
The principal performance of the incubator was based in three principal components, such as humidity generator. It was based in an electric heater with a container. This container had to heat water and generate the steam needed. Heat generator. It was based in a resistance and ventilator. When the resistance was hot, the ventilator was in the maximum power for go up the hot air. Towards turn on the resistance, we use a relay and digital pin of the Arduino for the control of the dirty cycle. At the same time, we had another ventilator for extract the hot air and generate a feedback of the air and humidity under the incubator. Also, we have principal control of lab view in which we control of all of the duty cycles of each component and the model that we can control the incubator, humidity of temperature.
For the temperature control was used the proportional integrator control, which solved the steady state error. The proportional integrator control corrects the temperature variation given the magnitude of the error and the time it stayed in it. For this purpose of defining a constant I, which indicates the number of time proportional action increases per second. The integral consists in accumulate in a variable all the errors of the system between the set temperature and the temperature readout. So if there is a large positive variation, high PWM control is generated. If the variation is decreasing, the PWM decreases. When negative errors occurs, the system responds by decreasing the PWM. So no control on off is set and it allowing the system to make a proportional change, controlled and not an abrupt one as the on-off. For the calculation of the error, the difference between the set point temperature and the temperature read is being read. 0.04 is established as the I constant. This means that the system can detect the smallest change in temperature and act against this. And finally, we apply the following formula to calculate the percentage of output. PWM to be interpreted, it applies a second formula, allowing control of the thermal resistance. For the humidity control, a humidifier container which generates a constant humidity is set. So the way to be controlled was accelerating or decreasing its flow. This flux variation increases or decreases the amount of moisture in the chamber. For a higher flow, lower humidity, and for a lower flow, higher humidity. The control of the ventilators for allowing the flow is performed with a proportional control and PWM. It is important to note that during the test run, the system could not compensate the moisture errors, because our incubator only had a sink mode. Always entered the same air over the heated air and heated air by convection, so that moisture never decreased. The solution for this problem is the implementation of a second ventilator in extractor mode. The sensor used to practice don't have the requirements. In the case of the humidity sensor, this was not capacity. The decision for not use it is based in the fact that we use an interface. In our case, the view cannot read high frequencies, which are generated with the capacitive sensor. Even that, we try to attach a converter frequency to voltage, which would allow us to handle voltage instead of high frequencies. However, was not a satisfactory implementation, and at the end we decided to use the Arduino sensor.